My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask your pardon for my sins and grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Mother Immaculate, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. When I was younger, I was inevitably getting into quite a lot of trouble. And of course, whenever you're a child and you get into trouble, you usually get caught. And like all children, I presumed that I was a brilliant liar and that I could get myself out of anything that I had got myself into. So one day I was messing around in the garden of our house playing with a stick that used to sit at the back door, and I was swinging it around my head like I was kind of marching in front of a band. Even though I'd been told off for doing this before, the stick flew out of my hand and flew straight into the flower bed and knocked the heads off most of the prize flowers that my mum and dad had been growing. Of course, panic ensues and I threw the stick away and tried to hide all the evidence of my sin. But inevitably I got caught. And so whenever my mum said to me, "What happened here? What have you done?" I, of course, tried to lie and said, "Oh, no, a huge bird came along and landed." Of course, she wasn't buying that one bit. So she said to me, "This is your last chance to tell me exactly what happened." Of course, when you hear it's your last chance, it suddenly changes things a little bit, and you suddenly realize you're not going to be able to lie your way out of it any longer. So, knowing it was my last chance, I said, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it, I'm so sorry. Usually because I feared I was going to get smacked. But it's interesting how the last chance for mercy often provokes an even more contrite heart than perhaps would have been there otherwise. And I say this because in today's gospel we see two beautiful things. We see first the last chance for mercy, and the second thing we see is boldness. Today, St. Luke introduces us to one of the most amazing disciples of Jesus. This man, his faith is incredible, yet we never learn his name. Let's hear what it says in the Gospel today. As Jesus drew near to Jericho, there was a blind man sitting at the side of the road begging. When he heard the crowd going past, he asked what it was all about. And they told him that Jesus the Nazarene was passing by. So he called out, "Jesus, Son of David, have pity on me." The people in front scolded him and told him to keep quiet. But he shouted all the louder, "Son of David, have pity on me." Jesus stopped and ordered them to bring the man to him. And when he came up, asked him, "What do you want me to do for you?" "Sir," he replied, "let me see again." Jesus said to him, "Receive your sight. Your faith has saved you." And instantly his sight returned, and he followed him, praising God, and all the people who saw it gave praise to God for what had happened. I love that story. I think it's amazing. This blind man sitting by the side of the road hears the commotion of the crowd and asks, "Who is it?" They say, "Jesus the Nazarene is passing by." And as soon as he hears that, he starts shouting aloud, "Jesus, Son of David, have pity on me." Now that means that he must have heard of Jesus before. Not quite sure how, but it shows that there was some degree of success in spreading the news about Jesus. Jericho isn't exactly close to Galilee, where Jesus spent most of his ministry. It takes about 4 days to walk from one place to the next. And it's at least a day's walk away from Jerusalem as well. So in this slightly remote village from where Jesus spent most of his time, clearly the message of Jesus had reached this blind beggar. And he shouts out despite the fact that everybody else is telling him to be quiet. Now that's a certain type of boldness. One of the fathers of the church said something very beautiful about this very man. He said that even though he is blind, he recognizes the light of the world. Now I think it takes a lot of guts to mark yourself out in a crowd. These people standing in front of him who he couldn't even see. But it takes even more guts to keep going when basically everybody else is telling you to shut up. "Stop it," they say. So he shouts all the louder. That makes me like him even more because I see a man who's so determined to get to Jesus. But what he says is actually incredible. He shouts, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." Now we read this and think, well, wait a minute, who's David? No one said anything to him about David. They said to him, Jesus the Nazarene is passing by. In fact, if he was going to be anybody's son, surely it would be the son of Joseph, who raised him. Everybody would have known, from Galilee anyway, from Nazareth, that Jesus had grown up in the house of Joseph. But he shouts, Jesus, son of David. To understand this, we have to go back to the Old Testament to see the promise that God made to King David, that the Messiah would come from his line. So this blind man is shouting out a prophetic title for Jesus. He's basically saying, you are the Messiah. You are the one for whom we have been waiting. You are the one who has come to save your people. And he shouts out, have mercy on me. Now it sounds quite polite, especially maybe whenever we hear this read at Mass. Jesus the Nazarene was passing by, so he called out, Jesus, son of David, have pity on me. Well, I don't think it was anything quite as polite as that. This could be his one, his only, and his last chance to meet Jesus. And it could be his only opportunity to be healed, to receive his sight. And he certainly does not want to miss his last opportunity. And when it's the last chance for mercy, you'd better take it. My mum will tell you that. And I learned that all too often as a bold child. Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me. Now, if you're really into Greek grammar, and I know that all of you will be, you'll know that what he says in Greek is eleison me, which means kind of more than just have mercy on me. It means do it once and do it now. Let your mercy have immediate effect in my life. He's imploring mercy to have immediate effect. And he kind of tells Jesus, he implores him using an imperative that he has to do it. Now that's an incredibly bold way of speaking to God. Not quite rude, but certainly confident. And it shows a kind of intimate way in which this man, who had obviously never met Jesus before, felt that he could speak to him. It's a kind of intimate conversation that God invites each one of us to have with him. In fact, we say this quite often ourselves. Jesus, have mercy on me. In fact, we may even say it in Greek when we come to Mass. We say at the start of Mass, whenever we are asking for the Lord's mercy to prepare us to hear the Gospel and to receive him in Holy Communion, Lord, have mercy. Or we say in Greek, Kyrie eleison. It's the exact same word that this blind beggar says on the road to Jericho. Now sometimes, if we place ourselves back at Mass just for a moment, we probably just respond out of routine. The priest says, Lord, have mercy, and we say, Lord, have mercy, probably in the same slightly disinterested tone. Now think of the shock everybody would have in the pews around you if when the priest said, Lord, have mercy, you shouted out, just like that blind beggar at Jericho, Lord, have mercy on me. Well, I'm not quite suggesting that you do it, though it might be quite funny if you did. But anyway, the point is this. This man really knew his need of mercy. And he shouts out because he doesn't want to miss his opportunity. And if you and I had the same keen sense that this Jesus, who is before us, has the capacity to give us his mercy, to give us what we truly need, and the fact that we knew what we needed, then we would shout out with the exact same degree. In fact, we would be bold enough to ask for it, maybe even in the same manner. It's amazing. Think about it. Jesus gives this man his sight, and he rejoices, and he follows him on the way. And everybody, even the people who had just a few moments before been telling him to be quiet, rejoice to see the miracle that God works in and through his life. Jesus, even though we are sometimes so blind to the things that you try to show us in this world, open our eyes to see you and to see your mercy. Let us be bold in asking you for your mercy and for the things that we need and when we need them. And give us the same desire to show mercy to others. Never allow us to miss any opportunities that you send us, Lord. And make us as ready as that blind beggar in Jericho to cry out to you and to ask for you what we need. And then to follow you on the way. I give you thanks, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, and inspirations that you have communicated to me during this meditation. I ask your help to put them into effect. My Mother Immaculate, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.